I do know that it can be done right, and I like the idea of referring to the source material as truly that.
Right. Yeah.
Source material.
Mm-hmm.
And did you, in your church, I get paranoid, let me make sure this is doing its thing. Yeah. Sorry. I just get paranoid. Do you do a lot of, I know you do a lot of Bible reading, personally. Have you seen in your congregations that there's a lot of Bible reading?
No, I don't think there's a lot of Bible reading in Christianity at all.
From my experience, not.
Yeah. I think in the older generation, there is, but I think in the younger generation, not so much.
Not so much.
I don't think there's that much reading, period. Much less reading of the Bible.
That's true. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And actually, of course, I do it on the internet.
Why not?
Yeah, I have a website
it's a beautiful source.
I log into every day. It splits it out into manageable sections where you can read it in a year. It ends up taking me like 2.5 years because there's days where I forget.
Right.
There's Saturdays and Sundays, where I get off schedule because it's a weekend and I don't do it.
Sure.
But yeah, of course, I'm doing it on the internet.
That's awesome. And you don't want to, I like that approach. I feel that way about particularly my own creative aspirations. You don't want to kind of box yourself in or paint yourself into the red because of some preset schedule.
Yeah.
And I think particularly with the spiritual religious stuff, at that point you might be defeating a purpose.
Yeah.
Today is Shabbat in Jerusalem, and
right.
so we are kicking it. We're using electricity, and if I were crazy, not sure, I scratch the crazy. If I were extremely Orthodox,
right,
or Orthodox period, I was just looking at that. I certainly would not be doing this. But it's a day of rest for me. It's a day of rest for you. It's a nice day of rest. And I'm making of it what I choose to make of it.
Sure.
And I don't want to be boxed in by things that I think lose or detract from the spirit of the moment.
Yeah, and I kind of look at things a little differently as far as I look at things as a sacrifice, and I think I don't make many sacrifices.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty self-involved person, pretty busy person. Most of the time busy on things that really don't matter, but they seem to matter to me.
Sure.
And so I think going to church, I'm not a morning person. Dragging out of bed and going and socializing on a Sunday morning, that's a big sacrifice to me. So doing that and reading the Word every morning, I mean, reading through some of that verbiage and whatnot, and you're busy and you're trying to get your day started, it's a sacrifice. And
Absolutely.
So as much as for what I get out of church and also what I get out of reading, it's also a sacrifice. And I think those are important. I don't come from a background where we really do much traditional ritual.
Okay.
On one hand, I don't understand it. On another hand, I respect it. Like, for instance, the whole Lent thing. I respect that. It's not something I've ever been involved with, really. Giving up things for Lent and whatnot.
Yes.
But I appreciate what's behind it. It's it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think that makes you a better person, as well as better within your walk, your faith.
Yeah.
But that's one thing when I was out there searching for what church I thought I needed to be a part of. I ran into a lot of ritual. And I've ran into a lot of it here in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And on one hand, it's very cool because it usually revolves around sacrifice.
True.
Like
It does.
today, there's a lot of Jews that are not doing things that they maybe would like to be doing.
Yeah.
Because they're sacrificing.
Absolutely.
They're living out the Word.
Absolutely.
What they believe is their law and their
Correct.
commandments. But in a lot of churches, I saw a lot of chanting, a lot of waving of hands, a lot of things that were going through the motion. There was zero sincerity behind it. According to my perception,
Which is fair.
and that worried me. Because that doesn't make you a better person. A spiritual bond makes you a better person, and so that brought me full circle to I need a spiritual bond, and I need to act according to my convictions, and I need to surround myself with the right people as I'm trying to do that. Which means as long as you don't have any fundamental, serious disagreements with your church. You're good to go.
I think so.
So that and reading the Word kind of helped with that. I thought, reading the Word every day, if at all possible, will help with that. Will help with that spiritual bond.
Nice.
And get me on track. So that's my game plan. The problem is the more the more you read, the more you know, and the older you get, the more your mind plays against each other.
Okay.
Plays against your soul, I guess. So I find myself, as I'm trying to get stronger in my faith, I found myself...
In terms of soul?
You're right, yeah.
Okay.
I found myself becoming more doubtful.
Interesting. Is your soul doubting itself, or is your brain doubting your soul? Or
Yeah, my brain doubting my soul, absolutely.
Okay.
And, the way I justify it is, there's not much of a brain up there, so just get over it. But... and being here kind of makes that hard too. On one hand, people say, that when they make a pilgrimage like this, that really serves as an affirmation to what they believe. But, I'm a cynical person, and so when I go see all this, I tend to be a little disappointed.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to be like, this is it. It seems highly unlikely.
Right.
Now, some of the things that we've been to on this trip have been quite the opposite.
Oh.
Like we went to that ancient synagogue in Capernaum.
Yeah.
Parts of the Via Dolorosa were very emotional, very neat.
Yeah.
Other parts were very tacky and really destroyed by churches, sects.
Yeah.
So it's been an emotional roller coaster, but and I have I saw a lot of the going through the motions.
For the sake of going through the motions, because the idea I know behind the motions, the kind of the rhetoric and the stuff, is that they're the goal is to aspire to something greater through perhaps elevating mundane behaviors. I noticed we went to an Orthodox church the other day, and I saw a lot of I'm not sure what it's called.
Incense
waving, incense, yeah. And I'm not sure exactly what it means, but I know it's the goal there is something a little more celestial. It's an earthly deed done with celestial intentions.
And I'm sure it's biblically based. If I'm not mistaken, they burned incense in the temples.
They did do that, yes,
and whatnot. So I'm sure it's based, but is it commanded? Number one,
for the Jews it is, but that's with the temple structure and
my question is it commanded, and if so, do we get something out of it?
Now by we get something, do you mean your soul or your mind?
And that's another pet peeve. We always say, well, I didn't get anything out of that, and it shouldn't be about whether or not we get anything out of it. It's, whether your God got anything out of it. And if your eyes are rolled up in your head and you're just waving the thing around with incense flying crazy, I don't think he's getting anything out of that.
Fair enough.
So, if my questions are, if it's not needed, let's get rid of it. If it's
progressive.
If it's commanded, then let's do it, but do it right.
Okay.
And so that's my take. But I'm coming from a very modern Protestant background where there's no ritual, there's none of that. So it's easy for me to say. It's easy for me to say that.
Absolutely. It's been a real sea change being Jewish now, where I grew up also modern Protestant. And here, ritual is a big part of things.
Yeah.
And
but it's neat. When we ate in the hotel last night, and all the Jewish families were there having a Shabbat dinner. That was really neat.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed witnessing that.
Cool.
Some of it seems odd, but a lot of what I do seems odd too.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of custom. If you go to if you transplant yourself to some other place on planet Earth, the customs are just wild. Things are wild. Yeah. Absolutely.
This is a cool city in that, when you go through all this history and everything on such a grand scale, for me, myself, I've spent a lot of time feeling not worthy.
Really?
Not worthy to be here.
Interesting.
Just really...
As a spiritual being? In what sense? Okay.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, history, and here's King David, and here's Solomon, and here's this, and, I just kind of feel, not adequate in the presence of these spiritual titans. So, there's a lot of different things I've gotten from it, but it's been interesting.
Interesting.
It's cool.